All right, so today I will be reviewing one of my favorite books that I read in fourth grade. My mom gave it to me for my birthday, the summer between fourth and fifth grade, and I had been curious to read it, mildly curious. And then my mom gave it to me. I don't know how, I think somebody just recommended it to her. And then that night, I lay in my bed in my new bed set that my mom had bought for me, and I read it all in one night. And the book was Hatchet by Gary Paulsen. And it is an amazingly good book. Particularly, I find boys tend to really enjoy it. But even, it doesn't matter, if you like a good adventure story, if you like the outdoors, if you love survival stories and hunting and fishing, and if you've ever wondered, and had a weird kind of fantasy that a lot of kids sometimes have about, what if I was lost in the woods? What would I do? This book takes a very realistic view of an idea of a boy who gets lost in the woods. The basic premise of it is he is flying to somewhere up in Canada. It was Canada or Alaska, somewhere up north, to visit his dad, because unfortunately his mom and dad have gone through this divorce. And that's part of the thing, is he's dealing with the breakup of his family. And so he's got this sadness going on that he's trying to deal with. And he's flying in a I think it was a single engine airplane with just a pilot. And they're flying over the woods in Canada one early summer. And unfortunately the pilot has a heart attack. And so the plane crashes. And actually that's probably the best scene of the whole book. I mean, there's still good things after that, but that was always the scene I found truly intense, was when he has to try to land the plane. And how do you land a plane in the woods? Because if you land a plane in among trees are going to rip your plane up. How do you do this? And so he's just like, I think he's 10, 12 years old, and he's landing this plane, trying to talk to the radio guy, and then he crashes, and he ends up, nobody finds him, and they don't know where he is, so he's stuck in the woods. And all he has is a hatchet that was given to him for his birthday. And that hatchet is what saves his life. Now, not in ways you might think. It's not because then he kills the bad guys or uses it to hunt. It's I'll let you guys read the book to figure out how it helps him out. But it's a great book. It's a fairly easy level book. It's about fourth grade level. Many schools still read the book in fourth grade as just their assigned reading. And it does fall under the great books category. It is you'll find it on quite a few of the lists because it is an award winner. The things you might want to watch out for is if you are bothered by, there are some gruesome scenes. There is not to give things away, but there is a scene with a decomposing dead body that it's not too descriptive, but you do kind of fill in the blanks with your imagination. Other than that, there are no swear words, nothing that I would call immoral. Just a great story about survival. And Gary Paulsen is an amazing guy who wrote a lot of great books, but clearly there's a man who loves the outdoors, and a lot of his books take place in the outdoors and are about young men finding themselves or growing or maturing because of their experiences in nature, in the wild. And so in general, I would actually recommend most every Gary Paulsen book. There was one I read that I don't recommend, and I can't remember the name of it. I'll look it up later, but it was something about the white deer or something like that. It was a rather odd little book and just wasn't quite my taste, and not really appropriate for kids. But other than that, yes, definitely I recommend Hatchet by Gary Paulsen. Go read it, and if you want to, it's a novel. Read it and then fill out your slip, and then you can send your boat sailing and give me your page numbers and sail around the world, because fifth graders, you guys are lagging. This is kind of pathetic. We've barely made it halfway around the world, and the year is almost over. There we are at Victoria at the Seychelles Islands. We barely made it halfway around the world. Not to compare, but I'm going to compare. The fifth grade from last year, they made it twice around the world, 2.5 times. Maybe it was just about 2 times. Remember the fifth grade from 2 years ago? That was the 2.5 round time. Yeah, you guys got to catch up. All right, go read Hatchet. All of you read Hatchet. And if every single one of you reads Hatchet, it's about 200 pages. Think about that. That's 30 kids. 30 times 200. Do the math. That'd move us pretty quickly, right? So there it is. Enjoy the book and keep reading over the break. The break.